Caspar on the 13th of February 2022, and I've got a red burgundy here. I am cooking next door a rolled leg of lamb that I've unrolled, and I've stuffed it with spinach, garlic and breadcrumbs. So that is cooking, and I thought, you know, the perfect wine would be burgundy. I always think burgundy with lamb. Something about the sweetness of the fruit, and with lamb, you know, lamb goes very well with fruit and sweet things. So here we are. What is it? Well, it's 2009 Pommard Premier Cru Les Pezerolles from Joseph Voillot. Pezerolles, fully south-facing vineyard in Pommard. And obviously 2009, most of you will know, was a pretty sun-drenched vintage. So do those two facts have any effect on the wine? Let's have a look. It's still really quite red in colour, although garnet in the bowl. There's some age to it, but I mean not any signs of overly aged colour. But I opened this gosh, an hour and a half, even 2 hours ago, and just left it in the bottle with the top out, having taken just a little taster out. And it's, you know, the nose is not really sprinting out of the glass, it must be said. You have to go hunting a bit, and it's you know, as mature burgundy so often offers up, you know, it's got some fascinating series of aromas that are really quite difficult to put your finger on. So I'm going to have a bit of a stab here. Let's try. Gosh, it's a wine really of the earth. It's got a really sort of rooty, spicy nose, a bit of licorice. Lots of spice there as well, really quite intense spice, and the fruit is really quite dark in character. There's a high tone note which brings across little wisps of mint to it. That could possibly be the wood. It's got a sort of marron, a sort of chestnut-like quality, and a wisp of smokiness to it, but there is that high tone thing that's integrated, but still quite present. As I say, it's not really shouting about itself. It's not the most aromatic wine you could imagine. It's sort of reserved and earthy and quite sort of a masculine thing to smell. On the palate there, it's fascinating because it goes in the mouth and you think this is a dry wine. It's a structured wine. It's dark in fruit. It's got an element of sweet spice that comes through quite quickly on the palate. It's got a tannic structure that is completely integrated within the fruit, and very finely textured, almost sort of silky. That pushes right through the palate and becomes more evident towards the back, as perhaps you'd expect. I think the character of the vintage and the southerly exposure of the vineyard are expressed in an almost a gumminess of texture that just appears at the back end to the fruit. It's a really interesting thing to smell. It's one of those wines you think this isn't Burgundy. This is 2009 Pommard Premier Cru Pezerolles from Joseph Voillot. It sort of steps out of the bounds of its appellation of its yeah, and it's a thing on its own. It's got so much structure right the way through it. It's a wine that's crying out for food, hopefully crying out for lamb. It's got enormous length. It's got juicy acidity as well, which perhaps you wouldn't expect given the vintage and the vineyard. And just plows right on this beautiful swathe of gossamer tannin around this dark, rooty, masculine, earthy fruit. It's very Pommard. Really quite a serious thing. Those tannins are really present right from the front of the palate, and accompany that fruit, which has taken on this tertiary, as I say, rooty, licorice, earthy, spicy character, right the way through the palate. It's a very serious senior cerebral mouthful of wine, I must say. It's nothing sort of frivolous whatsoever about it. Very nice. I suspect it'll go with the lamb extremely well, and I'm looking forward to them waltzing down the aisle together and tying the knot. Yeah, lovely. And I don't think much hurry actually. I think you know, in Iron Burgundy you might be slightly nervous that they're going to shuffle off soonish, given the warmth of the growing season. But I think this is a wine with plenty of preservatives in the form of tannin, acidity, and, you know, quite luxuriant fruit concentration, which is not, you know, it's not really a fruity wine to drink. It's got fruit concentration, but it's not sweetly fruited. It's yeah, really serious. Just sort of spicy, almost unsmoked, that lovely unsmoked pipe tobacco character towards the end. It's a lovely thing. There we are. I'm going to shut up now. That's been 2009 Pommard Premier Cru Les Pezerolles from Joseph Voillot, who are based in Volnay, but really good producer.